Ah! A potato!
Bro, what? It's a potato. Calm down. That's not even remotely scary.
Okay, you're right. But do you know where they grow those things?
In Idaho?
Yeah, precisely, Idaho.
And what?
You know that Idaho isn't just known for its potatoes, right?
Yeah, okay, get to the point.
Okay, well look, it's got lake monsters, portals, shapeshifters, alien bunkers, and water babies?
Water babies?
Freaking water babies, dude!
Okay, dude, but I mean, your basic russet spud isn't haunted, my dude.
How do you know? What if it's the freaking government surveillance spud, dude?
Spud?
Okay, sorry. Freaking potato for the non-Idahoans.
Okay, what even would it be surveillancing for? Like what's it watching for? Mashed activity?
Don't joke. I heard whispers once. The freaking start sees all, dude.
Dude, you're carb paranoid right
All
now.
I'm saying is if you suddenly heard a baby crying near a river, see Bigfoot in a flannel, or your potato blinks at you, run. To Utah or Mars,
Okay, dude, I'll throw away my french fries.
It's too late, dude. They already freaking know. So welcome to the Witch Show.
Stop,
We're
stop
smart
it,
meets
stop.
stupid.
Shut up, stop.
What?
Dude, you know that's my thing. I'm
My
the
bad,
one that
dude.
does the Witch
Okay,
Show
fine,
intro
then do
every
it.
single time.
Just freaking do your intro then, dude.
Welcome to the Witch Show, where smart meets stupid and somehow makes sense. I'm Georgie, your host, and I'm thinking out loud so you don't have to.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Witch Show, from what I think seriously to you.
WITS, The Witch Show.
Cool story, bro.
Hey, welcome back to the Witch Show, where smart meets stupid. You already know me, I'm Georgie, and today I'm thinking out loud so that you don't have to. Now listen, here in Idaho, that's right, my backyard, land of potatoes, mountains, and people who wear shorts in the snow. Yes, it's normal. But beneath the crispy gold surface lies something dark, weird, and probably government classified. That's right, today we're going deep into the Idaho lore and conspiracy. And trust me, by the end of this episode, your buddy Manny might never look at a baked potato the same way again. So diving right into it, have you ever heard of the Loch Ness Monster? Well, Idaho has its own version too. Though it doesn't have as much notoriety, there's a lake in McCall called Payette Lake. It's beautiful. It's serene. It's the perfect place. I mean, it is in Idaho after all. But it's also the perfect place to die in a horror movie. Because allegedly, lurking beneath is a 30-foot-long serpent named Sharlie. Yeah, Sharlie. Okay, seriously though, Sharlie? Come on, who came up with a name? Sharlie's been spotted since the 1920s with a big hump, a long body, and a silent glider. For those of you like me who had no idea what that actually is, well, it's a creature that has the ability to glide through the air, but does so with minimal or no audible sound. But descriptions of Sharlie vary. Typically, she's often described as a serpentine creature, sometimes with a dinosaur-like head or shell-like skin. Native American tribes, including the Shoshone, had their own lore about an evil spirit in the lake long before Western settlers reported sightings. People say it could be prehistoric, alien, or my personal theory, a giant underwater potato that has grown sentient due to a weird Idaho National Laboratory experiment. Either way, it ain't just fish in the lake, my friends. The first documented sighting of Sharlie occurred in 1920, when railroad workers reported seeing a log in the lake that began to move and undulate. And in August of 1944, multiple groups of people described the creature as being 30 to 35 feet long, with a dinosaur-like head, pronounced jaws, humps like a camel, and shell-like skin. This sighting garnered national attention, with Time magazine featuring the creature, then referred to as Slimy Slim, in its August 21st, 1944 issue. And Payette Lake is a glacier-carved body of water spanning nearly 8 square miles and reaching depths of up to 392 feet. The lake's deep, dark waters, surrounded by towering pines and serene Douglas firs, provide an ideal setting for Sharlie's legend. But where would we be without the Native American tribes speaking of their lore? That's right, Native American tribes in the area spoke of an evil spirit lurking in the lake's hidden depths, adding to the mystery of the region, of course. So 34 years from Sharlie's first sighting, in 1954, the local newspaper, the Star News, held a contest to name the creature. The winning name, Sharlie, was submitted by Lael Hefner Turry of Springfield, Virginia. She suggested the name as a playful reference to the popular catchphrase, "Was you there, Sharlie?" from Jack Pearl's old-time radio show. which is pretty funny considering the context from the Jack Pearl's Old Time Radio Show. If you haven't seen it, I highly suggest you go and check it out. It's quite funny. Sightings of Sharlie continued throughout the 1960s and the 1970s, with reports describing the creature as dark or black, with shiny skin, ranging in size from 12 to 60 feet long. Despite the lack of photographic or video evidence, the legend persists, with locals and visitors alike sharing stories and experiences. In 2004, Boise Weekly published an article titled "Travels with Sharlie, Idaho's Most Enduring Monster," highlighting the creature's lasting impact on the community. And the town of McCall has embraced Sharlie as a beloved mascot. Events like the Sharlie Chalk Walk encourage residents and visitors to express their creativity by drawing their interpretations of the creature. The town's official website even features a section dedicated to celebrating Sharlie, inviting everyone to join in on the fun. Any way you look at it, I think it's great, family, wholesome fun. Maybe a great way to trick your little ones into wearing that life jacket they don't want to put on so badly. You better put on your life jacket, Silas, or old Sharlie's gonna get ya. Speaking of things getting you, have you heard of the Clearwater Triangle, Idaho's Bermuda? So you've heard of the Bermuda Triangle, but Idaho has its own version. It's called the Clearwater Triangle, an area between Grangeville, the Bitterroot Mountains, and Coeur d'Alene, where people just disappear. Hikers, hunters, tourists, all vanish like kids' Lunchables during recess. No tracks, no gear, no goodbyes, just gone. And if you're thinking, well, maybe bears, sure, let's blame it on the bears. You know, the ones with the ability to erase GPS data, hide human remains, and disable search helicopters? Makes sense. Totally logical. Or maybe portals, skinwalkers, forest spirits. I don't know, man. I just know I am not camping out there unless Bigfoot's my tent buddy. Now, the lore surrounding the Clearwater Triangle in Idaho is not a single unified body of legends like the Bermuda Triangle itself. Instead, the name Clearwater Triangle is more of a modern, informal term used to describe a region of north-central Idaho, known for its rugged wilderness, remoteness, and history of strange occurrences, disappearances, and local folklore. The stories that make up the lore are a mix of historical accounts, Native American legends, and modern-day mysteries. But even creepier is one of the most famous pieces of the folklore from the Clearwater region. It's the story of the man known as the Ridge Runner, or Wild Man. So the story goes something like this. From the 1930s to the 1940s, a mysterious figure haunted the mountains of central northern Idaho. This man, who was a criminal, was known for his ability to live off the land and evade capture by the Forest Services and law enforcement for years. He was often seen as one of the most supernatural figures, a cunning woodsman who could seemingly disappear into the wilderness at will. Local legends and even some newspapers reports painted him as a ghost-like character who was part man and part myth. But of course, the stories behind the Ridge Runner blurred the lines between fact and fiction. He was said to have an uncanny ability to read the woods and outsmart his pursuers. He would break into cabins for food and supplies, but he would leave strange messes behind, like dripping candle wax on the floors. The lore turned him into some kind of a folk hero, a kind of modern-day frontiersman who defied the authorities. His capture in the 1940s finally brought an end to the mystery, but the legends of his impossible feats and escape and survival lives on. But the mysteries of the wilderness continue to go on. The sheer remoteness and unforgiving nature of the Clearwater National Forest and its surrounding areas has given rise to many stories of strange disappearances and unexplained phenomena. Like other remote wilderness areas, the Clearwater region has its share of unsolved disappearances. Hikers, campers, hunters, basically people who have vanished without a trace, with some believing they were victims of a harsh environment, while others speculate about a more sinister paranormal explanation. And of course, that region has a long history of unexplained events, often documented in historical accounts of early miners and explorers. Stories of men dying under strange circumstances, finding unidentified bodies in cabins, and encountering bizarre creatures that have been passed down for generations. And of course, your Native American legends. The Clearwater region is ancestral home of the Nez Perce people, and their legends are deeply intertwined with the landscape. A prominent Nez Perce legend tells of a giant monster in the region that would inhale everything around it. The mythical trickster figure, Coyote, bravely killed the monster, and the story of how the land was created from its body parts and the different tribes from its remains is a central part of their culture. This legend grounds the mysterious nature of the land in a deep historical context. Then, of course, we have the water babies and other cryptids. While not exclusive to the Clearwater, many of Idaho's cryptid legends, such as the water babies or Bigfoot sightings, are often associated with this state's deep forests and river systems, including those in the Clearwater region. The lore of the Clearwater Triangle, therefore, is not about a specific paranormal event, but rather a collection of stories. From the historical wild man to the ancient Native American myths, that all speak to the wild, mysterious, and sometimes dangerous nature of the beautiful but untamed part of Idaho. It's a place where the lines between history, folklore, and the unknown are often blurred. But something not so blurry is the Idaho's alien basement, INL, and the Sawtooths. Now, Idaho is home to the Idaho National Laboratory, which sounds boring until you realize it's where they do nuclear research, AI experiments, and possibly interdimensional babysitting. People claim there's an alien base under the Sawtooth Mountains. Glowing lights, UFO sightings, military convoys that show up out of nowhere. And anytime something weird gets reported, suddenly it's just another weather balloon. Dude, if I had $1 for every weather balloon excuse, I could fund my own secret lab, and my experiments would involve testing how many Hot Pockets a man can eat before he unlocks a psychic power. Because come on, Hot Pockets are fire! Well, at least the outside is until you bite the frozen inside. But now let's get into the Native American legends, the water babies and the shapeshifters. Personally, growing up, I heard the stories about the water babies, and I think it's creepy. In fact, me and a couple of friends at one point even went looking for the water babies. And you do hear some weird stuff that's pretty unexplainable out there. Now, it's not confirmed, but at one point, a friend of mine told me that their sister had went out there to party, out at the reservation where the water babies apparently live. Or are dead at, I guess. Anyway, the story goes that they were out there partying and having a good time, and the cops showed up, so everybody scrambled. There was a group of 3 of them left, and they were hiding in some brush. 2 of them lost track with one of them, and the one that got lost, well, was never seen again. But the creepy part is that they heard babies crying shortly before that person went missing. But let's show some respect to the Idaho's OGs, the Native American tribes. Their legends are deep and, frankly, horrifying in the best ways. There are stories of water babies, ghostly infants that cry near rivers and lure people to drown. Yeah, forget sirens and banshees. Try hearing a baby laughing in the dark the next time you're fishing. 10 out of 10, nope, I would literally pee my pants. So the folklore of the water babies in Idaho is compelling and often a chilling part of the state's lore, with roots in Native American legends, particularly among the Shoshone and Bannock tribes. The stories are not just ghost tales. They're often contrary legends about the dangers of the wilderness and the dual nature of the water, as both a life-giving and potentially destructive force. And the most famous location associated with these stories is Massacre Rocks State Park, near Pocatello, Idaho. And the origins of the legends? Well, the most common version of the water baby legends in Idaho is rooted in a tragic, harrowing story of surviving during a time of great famine. According to the legend, during a period of extreme hardship, a Native American tribe, often identified as the Shoshone, faced starvation. To prevent their infants from suffering and dying slowly, the mothers were forced to make the agonizing decision to drown their babies in the Snake River. These innocent souls are said to have been transformed into water babies, forever trapped in the river's depths. Now, it's important to note that many historians and members of Native American tribes dispute this specific origin story. They argue that it may be a misinterpretation of the tale, typically by early settlers who didn't fully understand Native American culture. And they assert that the water babies are ancient, powerful spirits that predate the arrival of settlers and are not the ghost of human infants. Regardless of their origins, the water babies are described in several ways, all of which point to a sinister and dangerous presence. The most common characteristic of the water babies is their ability to mimic the sound of a human baby crying. They use this sound to lure unsuspecting people, especially women, to the water's edge. And then, of course, you can understand what happens next. The water babies are often seen as vengeful spirits who, once they have lured the victim close enough, will drag them into the water to their death. This makes the legend a powerful cautionary tale about the dangers of the water and the wilderness. But in some versions of the lore, water babies are not ghosts at all. but rather a type of small humanoid or mermaid-like creature. They are described as having features that are not entirely human, and their presence is considered a bad omen. People who have claimed to have encountered them report feeling chilling presence, hearing the cries, or even seeing small, shadowy figures in or near the water. But at its core, the water babies' lore serves as a stark warning. The legends are meant to instill a heavy fear of the unknown in the wilderness, especially near bodies of water. The story teaches several lessons. Be wary of what you hear. The tale warns against blindly following a sound into the wilderness, as it may be a dangerous spirit or creature. And of course, respect the water. The legend emphasizes the immense power and dangers of nature. Water, which is essential for life, can also be a source of death. The water babies are a symbolic representation of the dangerous, unpredictable side of nature. And of course, the weight of grief and trauma. For those who accept the famine origin story, the legend is powerful, and the tragic reminder of the incredible hardship faced by Native Americans and the lasting legacy of their suffering. The legend of the water babies is a dark and compelling part of Idaho folklore, a story that continues to resonate with the locals and visitors who encounter the vast, untamed landscape of the state. And then you got the tales of the shapeshifters and skinwalkers. Don't whistle at night. Don't stare too long into the trees. Basically, don't be a character in a movie who says, "Hello? Is someone there?" Spoiler alert, it's not someone. It's something. Now, I'm sure you've all heard about skinwalkers. And if you haven't, go check out my last episode. I cover basically everything that you need to know about them. But if you haven't checked out my last episode, well, then let's go ahead and get into it. Skinwalkers and shapeshifters are part of the Native American legends. The most prominent shapeshifter lore comes from the indigenous people of Idaho, including the Nez Perce, Shoshone, and Bannock. These stories are not just tales of horror, but are often more fables and about power, responsibility, and the consequences of using spiritual gifts for evil. The Pumaw, Nez Perce witch woman, is one of the most specific and detailed shapeshifter legends from Idaho. The Pumaw is a Nez Perce witch woman, sometimes described as a daughter of the trickster Coyote. She is said to have the ability to transform into a beautiful young woman, a black cougar, or a bobcat. She's often seen during storms and wildfires, using the chaos of the weather to her advantage. The Pumaw's goal is to lure people, particularly men, into the treacherous canyons of the Snake and Salmon rivers to sacrifice them. The legend serves as a powerful warning to be wary of those who seem to offer help in times of crisis, as their intentions may be malevolent. Then, of course, you have the trickster figures Coyote. While not malicious shapeshifter in the same vein as the Pumaw, Coyote is a central figure in the mythology of the many Idaho tribes. He's a master shapeshifter and trickster, often appearing as a human-animal hybrid, or transforming into a full animal to play tricks on others or to help create the world. In some stories, he creates the landscape and the various tribes from the heart of the monster. Coyote's shapeshifting is a tool for both creation and mischief, reflecting his complex and unpredictable nature. But then, of course, you got the modern urban legends. And honestly, this one's one of my favorites. In more modern urban legends, the concept of shapeshifting takes on a more contemporary and often more sinister form. These stories are a blend of old folklore and new fears, often circulating the internet and, local communities. But however it comes to your knowledge, my personal favorite is the mimic. I mean, it even sounds cool. The urban legend is a modern take on the shapeshifter. The mimic is a creature that can perfectly imitate the sound of a human or animal. It does this to lure people into the woods, as far as the camp story goes. But there's also things circulating the internet that suggest that the mimic can actually be hiding in your house. And I've seen a couple of these videos, and personally, they're pretty compelling. Whether they're real or not, you gotta admit, it's kind of a creepy story. And definitely a scary take on the shape-shifting world. The legend of the water baby's cries is a historical example of this type of mimicry. Modern tales might involve a mimic impersonating a lost friend or family member's voice to draw a person away from safety. These stories tap into a modern fear of the unfamiliar and the loss of clear distinction between friend and foe in the vast, untamed wilderness. Then, of course, you got your Bigfoot, your cults, and your hill people. All creepy lure from Idaho. And yes, Bigfoot is absolutely here. Selkirk Mountains, Boise National Forest, tons of sightings. Footprints, audio, even blurry pics taken with what must have been a 1997's Nokia flip phone. And it gets darker. There are rumors of secret cults, paramilitary camps, and even phantom hill people who live deep in the wilderness. Completely feral, completely human, maybe, and possibly cannibalistic. So yeah, welcome to Idaho, where you can get mauled by a bear or recruited by a backwoods prophet named Kyle. Anyway, folks, today we went on one heck of an Idaho road trip. From the deep, icy waters of the Payette Lake, where Sharlie, the not-so-friendly neighborhood sea serpent, may or may not be waiting to photobomb your fishing trip, all the way to the mysterious Clearwater Triangle, where history, gold, and a few unsolved vanishing acts keep the legends alive. Whether you believe these stories or think that they're just campfire fuel, one thing is for sure. Idaho has more than potatoes hiding beneath the surface. This has been The Witch Show, where smart meets stupid, and somehow it all makes sense. I'm Georgie, signing off, at least until the next conspiracy comes knocking at my door.
Let's go!
Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Witch Show from what I think seriously to you.
WITS, The Witch Show.
Cool story, bro.
Hey guys, I just wanted to say thanks for tuning into The Witch Show. Seriously, you could have been doing anything, literally anything else, but here you are listening to me ramble. I'll be dropping new episodes every single week, so keep your ears peeled. Or whatever the ear version of peeling is. And hey, if you got a story that you're dying to hear me cover, or you just want to see if I'll read something truly ridiculous on air, shoot me a message or drop it into my comments. Who knows, you might just make it onto the show and into internet history. Until next week, stay curious, stay weird, and remember, if it sounds stupid but it works, it's basically genius.